Greetings Exiles, this is Cod Raziel coming to you with Sir Reginald Amadeus Fortescue III and Frank. And today we're just going to give you a quick overview of my conclusion with the RighteouSplosion 6-pack. Now, this was a fun little journey for me, and despite having played 6 Righteous Fire characters in a row, I didn't really get bored of it. And the only time I felt slightly fatigued was while doing the Chieftain, because I found that his ascendancy didn't really bring anything that was visibly interesting. In terms of my favourites, I would have to go with the Berserker and the Pathfinder just for their versatility and overall speed. If I wanted to go really fast, I would go for an Elementalist, and if I wanted to be able to face tank just about anything in the game, I would go for the Juggernaut. Seen in the video in the background here is the Pathfinder. I'm just taking care of all of the Guardians just to show you how RighteouSplosion deals with them. The reason I picked the Pathfinder is pretty much for her versatility. I knew that I could just switch out whichever flasks I needed for defenses to be able to tank the bosses. Later on in the video you'll see I do let my flasks drop, and the consequences of that are made known to me. In terms of why I picked Righteous Fire for all this is pretty much because I've always enjoyed Righteous Fire since the very first time I played it. My first Atziri kill was with Righteous Fire, and pretty much my first everything was with Righteous Fire. And in Prophecy, when they showed the Calm's Way ring, I decided that Righteous Fire was pretty much my go-to build when I'm not dragon juicing something. So in terms of difficulty to play, I find that Righteous Fire is one of the easiest builds to play from a activity perspective. There is a lot you can do, but you don't really need to do any of it. I've on many occasions gone AFK, and the Righteous Fire kills any mobs that might come to me, and the regeneration takes care of the rest. The reason I went with armor is because I've always found the synergy between armor and endurance charges to be quite chilled for gameplay. Simply because you take so little damage from physical hits, which when you're doing maps with characters that aren't armor endurance charge based, you tend to lose life quite a lot. And I don't enjoy the feeling of taking big damage and healing it fast. I prefer to take small amounts of damage and regenerate it consistently. Now, while some of the RighteouSplosion characters can handle all the Guardians with ease, unfortunately the Shaper was quite difficult. And although it can be done, it's not going to be easy. There are far easier builds for the Shaper. In terms of what's best at what, first off, if you're going to be doing a lot of boss fights and whatnot, then I would recommend the Juggernaut, simply because it's able to consistently tank, unlike the Pathfinder, which, while it may have more defenses with its flasks up, you can eventually run out of flasks and then you're pretty much up shit creek. For general mapping, I would recommend the Elementalist, just because of her fast clear speed. She can do that pretty much up to tier 15 maps if she gets strong enough. If you want to do a bit of mapping, a bit of bosses, a bit of everything, then I recommend either the Pathfinder or the Berserker, because they both have great balance of offense and defense, and the Pathfinder just has a lot of versatility in her defenses. You can prepare for any boss using the Pathfinder. If you feel like something different, you can try out the Chieftain. The Chieftain seems to be relatively popular for RighteouSplosion for whatever reason. I didn't much enjoy it, but clearly you guys are enjoying it, so maybe I just have a bad experience. Now, after the Calm's Way ring, it's even more exciting this league that we got the essences, which I hope stay, because the fire burst on hit was such a nice burst damage thing for Righteous Fire, and it really buffs both our single target and our area clearing speed. On top of that, we have things like the 30% more elemental damage on helms and more damage over time on gloves. All these essence things make Righteous Fire substantially more powerful, and because of that I'm really hoping that essences stay in the game. If essences do stay in the game, I will be updating probably the Pathfinder and Berserker versions of the build, as well as potentially doing a Juggernaut one on hardcore at some point in the next league. If you'd like to know more about the RighteouSplosion builds, then please do ask me a question on Twitter or in the comments or on the forums, and I'll try to answer it as best I can. I've likely missed something in this conclusion video that I wanted to say, but I've been sick for just about 2 weeks now and haven't been able to record this video. So I'm just going off the top of my head and just giving you guys the first things that come to my mind about the build. All in all, while these aren't my highest level characters, I did have a lot of fun playing them, and I think I've spent the most time in the game playing Righteous Fire over all other builds. I'd also like to know from you guys, do you like Righteous Fire builds? Do you prefer the Dragon Juiced support builds that I'm doing? Would you like a bit of both? I'd like to sort of gauge what kind of builds you guys are interested in. The meta builds are pretty much covered by guys like Mathel, but I know that not everyone likes to play what the current meta is, and I also like to play cheap builds. And in order to be a cheap build, it has to not be a meta build. I mean, that's just the reality. Anyway, that about wraps it up. From myself, Sir Reginald Amadeus Fortescue III, and Frank, we say good luck and stay juicy. And I hope you enjoyed this video and you enjoy the rest of these Guardians, including my death. Also, if you'd like to like the video, that would be great. If you'd like to subscribe, that would also be great. And it will keep you up to date on my new projects. I will be doing another similar project next league. I haven't decided quite on which build I'll be doing it, but I'm going to take some sort of skill and mechanics combination and try it on a bunch of different ascendancies, possibly using the new league mechanic if it is something that we can apply to ourselves. I'd also like to note that I have started a Patreon. I know I'm fairly new, but I thought if you guys really would like to support me and you really enjoy my content, you can always just give me a little donation there on Patreon. If not, that's fine too. And that is a wrap. I will see you guys next league. I have a video coming up on a game that I play when I feel like a break from PoE. It's a bit of a casual game, but I've been enjoying it nonetheless. So stay tuned for that. Again, good luck and stay juicy.